thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it. You've got 25 days or so until the election. Just in your mind, what do you think are the one or two issues that are going to decide this election on November 4th?
The top issue that we are hearing from people is definitely safety. And people want us to be operating in reality. They recognize that we need more police officers in our department. So the top issue is definitely safety. People deserve to feel safe in their city and in their neighborhood. The second issue that we're hearing a lot about is affordability. People should be able to afford to live in a great city. While those are the top two issues, I know that there are a number of other things that people care about in Minneapolis, and certainly they're going to make their voices heard.
Obviously the incumbent in this race. Tell voters, why do you feel you deserve another term as mayor of Minneapolis?
Look, I love Minneapolis. Raising my two kids here. We've got a 9 or 10-week-old, a 5-year-old, my extraordinary wife, Sarah. And I just moved my parents out here to Minneapolis as well. And so I want to make sure that the city realizes every bit of potential. And we've been through a lot over these last 5 years. And I'll tell you, I'm not the same mayor as I was 7 years ago, 8 years ago when I first took office. I'm not the same person. And you use those experiences to be a better mayor, to be a better leader. And now it's just not the time for on-the-job training. With everything that's happening in the world, we need to be doing the work to make our city more affordable, to make sure that it is more safe, to bring more police officers into our department, and to make sure we're building more affordable housing. This is the work that a city needs to do, and this is the work that we're up for getting done in the immediacy.
You mentioned public safety being top of mind. Have you been satisfied with Chief O'Hara's work so far under your tenure?
Chief O'Hara has my 100% support. I recruited Chief O'Hara from Newark, New Jersey, as he was known for both reforming police departments and driving down crime. Well, crime is dropping. The city is safer. And every single day our police department is getting reformed, and you don't need to take my word for it. The Independent Monitor has very clearly stated that Minneapolis is making more progress towards a foundation of police reform than virtually any city in the country. So for those that have said for years that they want to see more reform, it's happening. We have the most diverse police department in our city's history, and change is afoot. For those that are saying our city needs to be safer, it is happening. We aren't there yet, but it is happening. And unlike other candidates in the race, I've made very clear that we need to be hiring more police officers that want to be the change.
When it comes to rebuilding the police force, obviously you've seen some of those numbers tick up. You had a large graduating class here just a couple of weeks ago, but still well short of where you were pre-pandemic, pre-murder of George Floyd.
That's right.
How are you going to continue to rebuild this police department in Minneapolis?
Right. Chief O'Hara and I have been doing the work to go out into communities, meet them where they're at, and tell them about the wonderful opportunity that they have to be part of the change that is taking place in MPD, to get in on the ground level, to be an example for so many other cities to follow. And I'll tell you, they're buying in. We saw a 135% increase in the applications to become a police officer. We just brought on a 34 officer class, and the numbers are going up every single month. But there's a lot more work to be done. And you're not going to get that work done by people, other candidates that were intent themselves on defunding the police. You're not going to get there if you have a mayor that will throw their chief under the bus the minute something difficult happens. Chief O'Hara and I have the kind of partnership that you need to get through tough times, and yes, he has my full support.
One of the issues that's come up on the campaign related to police reform efforts is the position of Sergeant Hanneman being in charge of use of force. Why was he overseeing use of force training?
So, first off, I'm glad that the chief recognized the need to shift Officer Hanneman and Sergeant Hanneman to a different unit. I fully understand the concerns that people in the community have had. And as far as the need for reform, we're all in, and you don't need to take my word for it that it's taking place. The independent evaluator has made very clear that we are making more progress towards police reform than virtually any city in the country.
Were you aware that he was overseeing use of force training within the department?
So I'm not involved on these individual determinations as to where officers are placed. I do agree with Chief O'Hara in ultimately shifting him over to the Officer Wellness Unit. And by the way, he's been doing good work on the Officer Wellness Unit over the last several weeks, and that's the direction we need to be going.
But given the high-profile nature of that case, that never came up in conversation of what his role was in the department?
His role or any officer's role, it's not like that decision comes through the mayor's office.
Moving to another topic that's just been in the news, Governor Walz said this week that he wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of federal mobilization of National Guard troops to Minnesota, given that it's a blue state. Have you given any thought to, as mayor, how you would respond to such action from the Trump administration?
Yes, we are working directly with Governor Walz and with the state to make sure that we are prepared and that we're planning. And at the same time, we don't know precisely what the Trump administration is going to do. We don't know when they're going to come in. We don't know where they will come in. We don't know what that mobilization of National Guard will or won't look like. And so we're doing the work ahead of time to make sure that we've got emergency preparations in place, to make sure that we're fully coordinated with the state. And while we can't predict the future, we certainly are prepared.
There was that audit that came out about the June 3rd response that mentioned potentially looking at the separation ordinance. Do you support strengthening the ordinance?
I support strengthening the ordinance. I support doing everything that we can to make sure that undocumented immigrants in our city are safe and they are protected. In Minneapolis, they're not just undocumented immigrants, they're our neighbors, and we love them. And here's the thing. The Trump administration would want our police officers spending time hunting down undocumented immigrants. I'll tell you what I want our police officers doing. I want them keeping people safe. I want them stopping homicides from happening. I want them arresting perpetrators of violent crime, preventing carjackings from taking place. That's what I want them spending their time doing. I don't want them spending a single minute hunting down the father that just dropped his kids off at daycare, is about to go work a 12-hour shift, and happens to be from Ecuador. That's where our values are at. That's also the right thing to do for safety.
Given what we've seen in other cities such as Chicago, I know that June 3rd ended up not being focused on immigration raids. If there were ICE or federal activity related to immigration in Minneapolis, would you follow that separation ordinance in the way that you did on June 3rd, meaning crowd control? Would you continue to assist ICE in the future, specifically related to crowd control like you did on June 3rd?
So we will not cooperate with either ICE or any federal agency around immigration enforcement, period. Now, here's also the thing. Our police officers do respond to 911 calls. If they have to escort an ambulance to help somebody that's hurt during one of these protests or raids, yeah, they're going to do that. If they have to protect property that is being damaged, they will do that. Our officers are charged with keeping people safe, and they're going to do their jobs in doing so. But no, they're not going to cooperate with ICE.
On the homelessness issue, another one that's come up a lot in the debate, it's been in the news. Your critics would say that the clearing of encampments is not solving the problem long term. What is your long-term solution for homelessness?
First, Minneapolis has seen more than a 33% decrease in unsheltered homelessness, where virtually every other city in the country under these circumstances has seen unsheltered homelessness go up. So we're making progress, but we're not there yet. But here's what we do. When there's a homeless encampment, we go out to the homeless encampment. We offer services. We provide access to shelter, sometimes housing. We bring out a mobile medical unit, provide health care to people on site, and we have a homeless response team offer care and culturally sensitive service. And then we do that again. And when that service is not accepted and the homeless encampment is still there, yes, we close it. And this is where my opponents and I differ. They would say, just don't ever clear the homeless encampment, keep providing the service. I'm saying once the service has been offered and declined, you got to close it. Why? It's not safe. It's not safe for the people in the homeless encampment. It is not safe for the surrounding neighborhood. I'm the one that gets the briefings about what takes place in these homeless encampments and what is about to take place. And so this is not, standing by having large-scale homeless encampments is not a solution that has worked in any city throughout the country, but that is in fact what my opponents are proposing.
Is there a more humane way to clear the encampments? I know there's been concerns raised by people that were living there that they weren't allowed to get some of their stuff. Is there a better way to do that?
So the way we do it is you can get your stuff. We have access for storage. We provide assistance to people in getting to shelter. Again, we provide shelter opportunities. We provide housing. We provide care. And then we go out there and we do it again. And when those services aren't accepted, yes, we close the homeless encampment because they are not safe. We could talk specifically about the instance with Sabri where, no, there wasn't time because it was a crime scene. So my opponents have made it clear that even in that case, they would not have cleared the homeless encampment. Omar Fateh was very clear. This was a crime scene. 7 people had just been shot. I was there at 1:30 in the morning and there were bullet casings all over the ground. And so, yes, when that happens, you gotta clear the homeless encampment. To just say it can continue to remain in place would be a complete abdication of your responsibility as mayor, both to investigate and also to keep the neighborhood safe. I don't deal with these situations in a hypothetical. As mayor, I deal with them in reality. I was out there at 1:30 in the morning, and the reality was that we had been trying to close it in a very coordinated way. We went so far as to sue the property owner. Repeatedly, my opponents were saying that we shouldn't go down that route and we should just let the homeless encampment continue to exist. That doesn't make sense.
The last issue I'll ask you about is rent stabilization. We've talked about this before, having done stories about just the pros and cons. Why don't you support rent stabilization?
I don't support rent control because it doesn't work. It has not worked in any city where it's ever been tried, most recently in St. Paul. I'm someone who follows data. We listen to experts. And when you see that rent control is literally counterproductive to the stated goals, it doesn't make sense just to do it again and again. I'll tell you what does work. Subsidizing deeply affordable housing and providing increases in supply. Due to the work that we have done in Minneapolis, we have managed to keep rents down more than almost any city in the whole country. We're providing 8.5 times the amount of deeply affordable homes since before I took office. I would put our work in housing up against almost any other city in the whole country because we are seeing success. Again, does that mean that we're there yet? No. No, we know we got a lot of work to do. But the work that we are doing is having an impact. And no, it does not make sense to go down the route of rent control that time and again has been shown to not work.
Just your final pitch to voters. That's the last question I have for you.
I'm grateful to the people in the city that care so deeply about Minneapolis. Whether you supported me these last couple terms or not, I'm grateful because I know that you care about making Minneapolis a better place. We're going to do the work. We're going to do the work to make sure that Minneapolis is safe, to make sure that we're hiring more police officers, to make sure that we're putting up even more affordable housing so that everybody can afford to live in a great city. And we're also going to do the work to bring people together. There's so much division in this country and in this world right now, but in Minneapolis we can be a beacon of hope and an example of so many others to follow.